Mortgage, branch leader, Team Talton as well, your favorite lender. So thank you guys for coming out today. Ty's gonna bless her with her experience, knowledge, and share the game, how to unlock off-market opportunities. She is a boss, you guys. Like, the energy she brings, the expertise, the knowledge, information. So you guys are not gonna leave here empty-handed, and take notes, take all the nuggets, and go share them with other people, and keep your eye out for more things that we have coming for you guys soon. So, without further ado,
thank you. Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing? Good. I love that song. I wanted to kind of, bring up the energy a little bit. My name is Tai Nguyen, and today we're going to talk first about mindset, okay? Because no matter how many tools we give you, if your mindset is not right and you're not in the right environment, no matter what tools we give you, you're not going to execute them, right? And so we have to start from the front end to get to the back end. And so we're going to start with the mind, the heart, the center, getting you in the right vibration, getting you whole, loving yourself first. Because when you love yourself first, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. Because when you're a whole and you know your goal, it doesn't matter. I had 2 babies back to back, and I had my head and my mind set on buying rentals. And all my friends were buying Chanel designer stuff and fancy cars, living a lavish life. And I knew my place, right? I knew that I wanted those rentals first. I drove a Kia van for 5 years that didn't even lock right. I lived in the basement of my mom's house till I got my goal. And then I set sight on finding the right house to raise my babies. And so when you know what you want and you love yourself and you believe in what you're doing, it doesn't matter what other people are thinking, right? Because no one's living your life for you except for you. And we have to learn to shut down what's going on out in the outside world and control the inside world. Once you control the inside world, nothing matters. If someone came to me and was like, Tai, you're a bad mom, who knows, right? Randomly, someone says, I'm a bad mom. I'm like, what? I would laugh at them because I know who I am. I know I'm an amazing mom, right? And if someone said, oh, you were a bad leader, right? Well, that's their opinion, not mine. There's plenty of people that are moving at the same time. So if you focus on getting centered here, your energy and your vibration is going to catapult you to any distance you want to go. And so today we're going to talk about energy, mindset, and then once we get you right, then we're going to get you into the tools, okay? And then once you have the tools, guess what? You're going to get into the right environment, okay? And then that environment is going to push you and take you to that next level. And that's how you become whole. And that's my goal today, is to teach you guys and help you guys see how amazing you are as an individual and not compare where you're at with someone else's, where they're at. A lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to be like you, right? And I'm like, well, did you put 21 years in? Were you wobbling with a giant stomach doing open house? During foreclosure? Short sale? I had 2 kids and closed 1 short sale. That's how bad it was back then. You guys don't have it bad. Like Michelle knows. Right, back then. I mean, the short sale game was the biggest thing back then, but you need to know how to work them. And, I worked really hard to get where I'm at. Now I get an opportunity to share my wins and share my losses, and then hopefully empower you guys to be bigger and better than where you're at today. So, you guys ready? Yes. All right, we're going to get into it. This is me, Tai Nguyen, licensed long time ago. In 2003, I was only 12 because I'm not that old. I've sold over 440 homes in my career, and some of those homes are on market and off market. I've turned down lots of listings and a lot of buyers just because they weren't syncing with who I am. And I had to learn the hard way. You know, a lot of times we just want the deal. We just want the deal, you know, or like, oh, I worked so hard in this deal. If I could just close it, even if I lose money, I just want to freaking close the deal, right? I stopped doing that. I just let it go. I'm like, I'm going to release you to the universe. And I am going to let someone else take care of you, you know, bless you in their own way. And then that just releases the negativity. And then all these good people come my way. They just start bouncing in, you know, because I bounce the negative out, right? It's all frequency and energy. Sales volume, I've done over 280 million. Started buying rentals in 2008. I started in 2003, and I asked my father-in-law at that time, I was like, if you can go back in time, what would you do differently? He was like, I would buy a lot more houses, right? And I was like, okay, well, then I need a few. I need to be able to buy a few so that one day those houses will pay for my lifestyle. And so I started collecting homes. I lived in a 800 square feet house in West Seattle with 2 kids in it, 1 bedroom, 1.5 bath, while my husband was remodeling it. And then we hopped from house to house to house. And then he was like, okay, I'm done. You know, like, I'm not fixing any more of your home. If you want to buy a house, you fix it yourself. And then so I started doing it myself. I'm like, okay, I don't need you. Bye. I'm going to do it myself then. I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. So I started hacking houses on my own. I started flipping in 2014. I've been happily married for 17 years. That's a lot of work for those who are married. I have 3 amazing kids, and my goal is to change the industry and unite all of us as a community. I've been at John L. Scott, I've been at Keller Williams, I've been at Compass, now I'm at EXP, and I've been through it all, and from my past experience, everybody's very divided. Every office, people are closed, they close their doors, they don't share, they don't synchronize, they don't want to collaborate, they don't want to, you know, they have their own things to do. And I get it, because I was there, right? I was closing 14 to 18 transactions a month in my team. And I was busy, so I didn't have time to collaborate. And so, you know, Izzy and I opened an office in Renton, and our goal is to open the doors for everybody. You know, when you want to come in and make calls, come in and make calls. It's a home. It's a place where you don't have to belong to anybody. You are nobody, no place, no time, no nothing. Just come as you are. I remember one agent that came to me and said he was at this firm and he was part of a team. And he asked one of the agents on the team if he can listen to them cold call. And the agent was like, no, you can't listen to me cold call. And he was like, but we're on the same team. And so when he said that to me, it made my heart sad, because there's plenty of opportunities out there for us to share. No one man can take it all. We can't eat the whole pie. I mean, you can, but, you know, might get sick. But, you know, no one person can do it all. And so if we collaborate and we help each other, we're going to go so much further. And that's kind of like been in the back of my head. I'm like, why is that some people don't want to share, don't want to collaborate? And that's why, hence, we opened that office. We're like, this is the place that every Thursday, if you're in this room, we invite you to our office. Some of the agents that come to the Thursday call-a-thons are here. So feel free to come in. Izzy coaches. Izzy, raise your hand. He helps everybody. He's amazing. You know, you'll listen to him on the phone, and then you get to make a call, and it's kind of fun. You know, it's not as bad as you think. I used to make cold calls, but I don't anymore. So what is my why? It's my family. These are my pack, plus the dog. Community is what makes my heart full. I love serving. I love giving back to people. I know that I met this lady a long time ago, and she was in California during my Keller Williams days. And her name was Elizabeth Doe, and she was selling over 350 homes a year, listing queen. And it's crazy because, like, she's Vietnamese and I'm Vietnamese, and I identify, like, we're sisters, you know, like, over Instagram. Like, that's like a sister to me, and she's doing it, and I want to be like her, you know. And so I hit her up on IG, and she was like, I'm teaching a listing class. You know, like, if you want, you can fly in. And so I told my brother, I was like, pack your bags. We're flying out. We're going to go figure out what this lady's doing, and we're going to copy everything she's doing. And she opened her books to me. She taught me how to build my listing presentation. She did the listing presentation, and I told my brother, I was like, Steven, record everything, okay? We're going to go back, and we're going to design it. Similar, but different. And so we did that, and that's how my career kind of started scaling. And I'm so grateful for her. We're still good friends, but without her and me identifying to someone like me, like as a mom, color, came from nothing, you know, parents weren't educated, didn't have much growing up, like I identify that. And to see someone scale made me believe in myself. And so I owe a lot to her, and that's why, I don't know if you've ever been to my listing presentation class. It's a fun class, and I teach it because I want to give back, because she gave to me. So if you guys ever see me teach it, come by. It's a fun class. And then purpose is turning water into crystals. Okay, so we're going to talk about the mind, okay? We're going to talk about your mindset. So first, part of your mind is to visualize, okay? There's one thing to manifest something like, oh, I'm manifesting a car, a Rolex, material stuff, right? There's one thing about manifesting something. But for you to shut everything down and get centered and then close your eyes and then envision yourself in that shoe, in that moment, and being your future self. And then when you shut down your mind and you see yourself there, that visualizing yourself there, right? And then you get an emotional attachment to it, okay? So now you see yourself there. How does that make you feel, right? How does that make you feel? Powerful, amazing, happy, whole? You're in your element. Who here, when they're doing something that they love, they're just so excited? Time goes by so fast, right? Because you're in your element. And so when you're in your element, you have that visualization, right? And then you have that emotional connection, okay? And you tie those two together, and then you put yourself in that environment. What happens? You blow up, you scale, right? So you can't work out without visualizing yourself going to the gym, right? Getting geared up, and how amazing you're gonna feel, right? And then you get yourself into the gym. I like going to group workouts because I love all the women and they're like, we're all like working out together. I love the vibe because like when they're pushing and they're like, one more time, like, oh, like just one more rep, right? And it's the environment that gets you, right? And so you got to put yourself in those rooms. And you can't do one without the other, okay? It doesn't work, okay? So, go back. So you can't do that without that. And you can't do that without that. So all three has to sync at the same time. Because when you're calling a seller and you're already like emotionally like scared that they're going to reject you, oh, they're going to talk about my commission. Shit. Or, oh, I don't have the years. I don't have. You're adding all that negative thoughts into your body. And they're going to feel it because it's a frequency. So all three of these have to sync. And the only way to have these three sync is that you have to quiet your mind. of like, oh, she started last year and she sold 50 homes. Why? Right? Or, oh, she has help. Or, or like, oh, she doesn't have to work because her husband's rich. Who cares, right? We don't have to worry about other people. And just learning to center us is so important. So when you visualize it and you're within your own energy and have an emotional attachment to it and putting yourself in the right environment is amazing what happens. When you see your future self so clearly and you have an emotional attachment, your heart starts to beat in a rhythmic pattern. That pattern is a measurable frequency that's magnetic. Your heart energy frequency is 5,000 vibrations stronger than your mind, right? So if you get your heart right, and your heart is beating in a balanced state, it's even more powerful than your mind, because your mind is the one that's screwing you over, right? You're psyching yourself out of everything. Like, oh, I'm not going to run because I have a listing to put up, right? It's your mind that's psyching you out. Okay, that magnetic field carries information. If you keep practicing this each day, you literally change your physiology. And you can do that. Okay? So we're going to watch a video. Okay. So we're going to put some positive words into our body because our body is built with how many percent of water? 70, 78, 70, 78. It's about 70, right? Our brain is 95% water. Your brain's tiny. All that water is protecting your brain. It's like this small. Your fist is your brain. That's how small. And everything around it is all water, right? So if you're not feeding yourself all this positive energy and you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not going to make that cold call. That seller's mad at me because their house is not selling. Who's been there, right? So like all that negative thought is going to start eating at you, right? And so every day I read my affirmations. So we're going to read it out loud together. Ready? Okay, everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to say it loud because we're going to put energy into our body. And the water is going to crystallize and it's going to form. It's going to be beautiful. Like Alice, like every day, I want you to say your affirmation because your baby's going to feel it. And they're going to vibrate inside while you say it. And then they're going to come out beautiful souls. Okay? And that's what I used to do. I used to put my phone and would play Beethoven on my stomach so my kids could feel the vibration of love when I had my babies. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. I am confident in my abilities to achieve my goals. I am deserving of success and happiness. I am in control of my thoughts and my emotions. I am worthy of all good things life has to offer. I am resilient and can overcome any obstacles. I am grateful for all the opportunities that come my way. I am consistently growing and evolving. I am a beacon of strength, inspiration, and power. I am worthy of limitless success and extraordinary happiness. How do you feel? You're going to go out and get a listing now? See? Can you feel this energy at home? Right? You got to be surrounded. You got to hype yourself up. You got to build up to it. You got to start training all your cells. I was looking at some of the crystals, and I should have added it. In Thailand, the water, they take a sample of the water in Thailand, and they look at under a microscope, and they crystallize it. The pattern, the crystal from Thailand and the Philippines are beautiful but very different. Time over time, it's very different. Like the water, when you're just saying negative things to it under a scope of, you've seen it, right? It warps. It looks like it's like falling apart because it's not feeding it. And now you wonder why, like, why is my kid not listening to me? Or like, why is this person not syncing with how I feel? It's because that negative energy. If you're in harmony with yourself, what they say does not impact you, right? So learning to be whole is beautiful. So I encourage you guys all to say your affirmations every day. It will help you. Okay, now that we all have our mind right, our emotions right, and we're in the environment, now we're ready to flip. Who's ready to flip a house? Who's ready to make money? All right, let's go. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, where do I start when I start flipping a house? Okay, there's all kinds of ways to do this. This is me and Izzy locking up a deal. So Izzy door knocked this guy. We locked it up for $300,000, and then we assigned it to an investor for $360,000, right, Izzy? Yeah. And he's been working his ass off on this deal. Let me tell you, there's like brothers and sisters from a different country, or I don't know, wherever, or like dead, or like deceased, or like somewhere missing, and we got to find them to sign. It's chaos. And he's been so patient in taking this guy out. And you guys have to understand, like, when we knocked on that door, well, he knocked on that door, and I showed up to see this guy, he had no running water. He had no electricity. He was like a hamster in his house laying in the dark. He has not left his house for like, what, 10 years, Izzy? 15, 20 years? I think he saw Kent for the first time in 2-3 decades, right? And you have to believe that you're serving, you're taking care of people, you're helping them move to the next level of their life. He had a dead cat in the bathroom, and he wouldn't let us in. And I was like, well, I can't make an offer unless I see the house. And he was like, okay, come on in. He's just lost. He went through the war, outlived all his siblings, alone, no kids. You'll see that a lot in off-market deals, wholesaling, flipping. You'll see a lot of that, right? And it's us serving them, right? It's a win-win for us, for both of us. And to be able to help someone who can't trust anybody. You know how many letters he had in the mail? It was like a stack this thick of like, we buy your house for cash. We'll give you any price you want. And then just like a basic CMA, and then they mail it to him because it's auto, and it's like, I can get this. You need to pay me more, right? But we're like, that's not real people. We are real, and we want to help transition you. So things like that happen all the time in the off-market world. So yeah, door knocking, bandit signs. Izzy's been doing that, getting a lot of phone calls. Jen just started. Raise your hand, Jen. She has the cutest signs. Her bandit sign has hearts on it, and it says, Jen buy houses. And she gets weird calls, but some calls you got a listing call.
I did.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your listing call.
So he wants me to bring an off-market buyer, but if I don't bring one within a month, I get to list the home.
There you go. Yeah.
So.
It's all in the action, right? It's all in the doing. Cold calling. We do cold calling in the office if you guys ever want to come by. Thursdays are a call-a-thon. Drive for dollars, auction, land, landing pages or SEOs, and then an ISA. Who knows what an ISA is? It's called the Inside Sales Associate. So it's you hiring someone in like India or, Philippines or whatever, and you give them a list, and then they dial for you, and they set appointments for you. And they're generally cheaper for those who don't have time. Like, it would be perfect for me if I wanted more business, which I honestly don't. But it'd be perfect for me because then I can hire someone for like $7.50 an hour versus minimum wage here is like $20, right? And then they will set appointments for you, and you pay a monthly fee for it. Yeah. I think Jen and I are going to start doing that. We have someone that is going to start cold calling for us, and they guarantee 20, what did they say, 20?
20 leads.
20 leads a month. So we're going to try it out. We're going to pilot it, and if it works, we're going to share it with everybody. So.
And they roll over. So if we don't get 20 leads in the month, then we don't pay until we get 20 leads.
Oh, wow.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I was just going to write the check.
I read the fine details.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to try it out, and we'll give you guys some feedback on it. Okay, continue. Networking event. Who loves networking events? I do. I meet the best people at networking events. Pre-foreclosure, wholesalers, liens, agent to agent is one of the biggest ways to get deals. Be friends with people. Let them know you're interested, right? And if I was a brand new agent, I would start doing videos like, hey, you can't find any good deals out there on the market? Send me your information. Let me help you find an off-market deal. Why aren't we doing that? Right? And then you go door knock the neighborhood. It's like, hey, look, I have 10 people. Look, these are the 10 people in your neighborhood. It's looking. You want to do a one-side deal or you want to do a two-side deal? Right? Like, think outside the box, guys. Don't be your traditional agent that waits for a buyer and a listing. You're going to get dry real fast because the market's changing. If you haven't noticed, it's changing. It's dry. It's very dry. I need more signs because none of my listings moving. So I'm like, I need to find a flip. Okay, so who here knows the wholesale process? Who's done a wholesale deal? You've done a wholesale deal? Who else has done a wholesale deal? We already know. Okay. Oh, thank you. He does a lot. Okay, so a wholesale deal is the investor, right? You or anybody, right? Contacts a homeowner, a seller, then finds the end buyer to purchase it, okay? And then you put in your fee in the middle. It could be anything you want as long as the other person who is going to buy it at that price. The wholesaler makes a profit by assigning the contract to the buyer at a higher price than the original contract with the seller. Here are the key steps involved. Find a property, okay? Create a contract and agreement. Find a buyer. Assign the contract, and then make the difference, a profit. And you can also decide if the buyer that's buying the deal is going to pay the closing costs or not. You know, it's funny because I don't do a lot of wholesale. I flip more. And Izzy landed that door knocking deal. And I was like, Izzy, what's the ARV? You know, I was like, we got to figure out the ARV. Let me run numbers. You know, he was like, you don't have to run numbers. Okay? We don't have to tell the investor how much they're making off of it. We don't have to give them the crystal ball. We just have to tell them how much we want for it. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of easy. He was like, it is easy, you know? And lo and behold, right? Sample, locked up the deal for $300, then assign it to the end buyer, $360, and then we're going to make $60 on it. So do you want to list 5 houses or find a deal? But you could do both, right? And that's why I'm here, is because I've learned to do both. You don't have to do only one or the other. Most of your brokers will only teach you to do one thing. And one thing only. Don't talk to strangers. Okay? If they don't sign a listing agreement or a buy agreement, don't talk to them. Right? But why wouldn't you talk to them? Because I work with investors and they say, hey, I ain't signing shit. I ain't signing shit. You bring me a deal, then we could talk. But I'm not putting blood on a paper if you don't give me what I want. Because there's 5 other or 20 other people looking for deals for them. I wouldn't either as an investor. If you bring me a deal, yeah, I'll sign anything you want if the number's right. But I'm not going to give my soul to you because you have a buyer-broker agreement, right? So the industry is changing and you got to change. You have to step out of that traditional broker mindset if you want to make it in this industry. Otherwise, you're going to be doing open house till you're 80. And that's my worst fear. Oh, I'm like, I gotta open the house, you know? That's like my worst fear. So, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Okay, who wants to flip? Okay. We all want to flip, right? As long as the deal's good, we can flip it, okay? So here are some of the things, kind of put it in your back burner. Think about it before you decide to fix and flip or buy and hold, okay? Where does it fit, okay? So identify the amount of investable cash you can allocate to purchase your first rental or flip. You need to start developing your buying criteria, and that includes identifying the price range of the property you want to buy, down payment required, and the closing costs. So if you are a first-time flipper, your rate is going to be much higher, and you're going to have a minimum of 20% down. But if you work with someone who's done 7 to 18 flips in their portfolio, then you may only need to put 10% down, and your rate is a lot lower. So if you're a first-time flip, your rate could be 11, 12, 13%. But if you work with someone like myself or Izzy, right, who has seasoned experience, then the rate could be like 10%. You know, Jessica does DSCR loans. So like if you have a property locked up and you decide not to flip it but turn it into a rental, she can help you refinance that. Okay? Right, Jess?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so I'm going to go through some sample. Everybody loves a good example of some flips. So this is a flip that we did in Beacon Hill. We purchased it for $620, and this came from another real estate agent. He's a good friend of mine at John L. Scott. Oh, good. Okay, so this house was in Beacon Hill. This sold just this year. This is a brand new one that we just closed. We purchased it for $620. The rehab was $100. The holding cost was $50. And then we sold it for $960, so our profit was $190.
What is the holding cost?
Holding cost is like your closing costs, your real estate fees. The great thing about us is because we're a real estate agent, we don't charge ourselves a fee. So, but I do charge our company a fee. So Alicia and I have our own LLC. It's super fun, you know. So I charge our team 1% to list it. Yeah. And so all the expenses come out of the team account. But you know, like we're like, okay, after we close this, we're gonna go buy a nice bag. Like we just closed one, and then she was in Canada. I was like, can you go to Cartier and get me a bracelet? And she's like, yes. And I was like, take it out of our company account so it doesn't touch my account. It's just so much fun. Like, what else can you make $190 in 3 months, you know? But here's the thing. Like I said, networking, going out, I met her literally because someone wanted to learn from me and invited me out to lunch. And I said yes, right? And they brought her. And it's crazy because our energy were just like firing together, you know, like, I'm like, okay, this girl's got some kind of heat. I love it, you know? It's just, you know, when you meet someone and their energy is so crazy, you're just like, oh, I want more of that, you know? And so we were just like inseparable after we first met. And we're like, hey, if we lose 150, who gives a fuck? You know? At least we tried, you know? But it was never like a tits for tats, you know? It was never like I put in this, you did put in that. It was like we were all in that growth mindset together. We were all gonna like, why are we making other people rich when we can make ourselves rich, right? She was making her investors rich. She's like, Ty, I made this guy over here like $1 million last year, right? Yeah, I got like 60 grand in commission, but he got $1 million, okay? And so we came together, and I saved every commission I had. So I had this box at home, and I was like, okay, when does a cashier's check expire, right? And I think it's like 9 months or something like that, or a year or something. So what I do is like every time I get paid, I would put 50% in a cashier's check. Not in my bank account, I put it in a shoebox. And I forget like how many checks I have in that shoebox. And after 6 months, I was like, okay, I'm gonna open that shoebox. and see how much I have in there. And it's like 120,000 in that shoebox. And I take it out, and I was like, okay, I have about 250,000. Let's hit it. Let's go. I'm okay with losing that money, right? I'm here to double it. Are you here to double it? And we started doubling it, right? And so it was super fun. So my friend at John L. Scott sent me this. He had a listing, and he was like, he wanted to buy it, but it was a conflict of interest to buy his own client's deal. Because then he was like, oh, like they may think that I bought it at a super low price, but I think they'll sell it for this. Why don't you buy it? And so when he brought it to me, I was like, okay, 2 questions. 1, do you want the list back? Or 2, do you want to represent us? Those are the 2 questions you should ask. And he was like, I want my money up front. I don't know you bitches. He was like, I don't know the market, so I want to represent you. And you could do whatever you want, right? I was like, okay, perfect. You represent us. You get the double commission from your seller, and we'll get the property. And then when we finish, we get to list it ourselves. If not, then he writes it up for free, right? And then when we finish, we have to give him the list back. So anybody who brings us a deal, you get the list back. Even if I'm a real estate agent and Izzy and I are flipping it, Alicia and I are flipping it, you get the list back. You get to promote it. You get to be a part of the journey. It's super fun. So, okay. So this one, we made $190 on this one. This was this year. This one, one of my good friends started door knocking, and he owned like this cabana store, like has a lot of cash. And he door knocked this guy. He was like, hey, I got some weed. You want some? The guy was like, okay, come on in. So apparently he inherited this house from his mom, who passed away, gave him this house, and that's him right here. That's my investor. Izzy knows him. And so he doesn't even know what tax means because he got gifted this house, right? And over time, he was delinquent on the property. It was a total mess. Like downstairs, he like smoked so much meth that like sprayed the whole place with like colored patterns. It was insane. So we offered him $240 for his house. The rehab was $120. The reason why the holding cost is at $118, you know why? He parked his car outside. He had garbage. You know how you drive by and the garbage is everywhere? So the city of Buren charged him like $60 or something a day. Wow. And we didn't know that until we were getting ready to close. And he had a $200,000 lien on the city for fines. That's our whole entire purchase price. And so it took us 3 months to negotiate with the city and bring it down to $75,000. Oh my God. And here's the kicker. We already gave him $10,000 of our money up front to get his ass out of the house. Because we got to like entice him a little bit, right? Like, hey, here's some, smoke whatever you want, Here's some, get a U-Haul, put all your stuff in. This guy's such an idiot, so crazy. He like got this giant U-Haul, right? He packed all his shit in, and then he parked it down the street because, we're going to start rehabbing the house. He parks down the street, and then he runs out of money. $10,000 in like 15 days. We came by, and all these ladies were in the house. They're all smoking with him.
In your house?
No, in this house, yeah. We didn't close yet. We gave him $10,000 to move out.
Yeah.
Right?
And then he did, but then he came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we gave him $10,000 to pack his shit and go move on. And he was like, okay, give me 10 days to pack my stuff, take what I want. And so he parked down the street, and then he brought all these ladies in. They were just smoking in there. They were just chilling. They were like half no teeth. It was so crazy. Like gums everywhere. It was so crazy. And so he parks it down the street, and he forgot to pay U-Haul a monthly fee. And when we closed, guess what? They took the whole van. They took the whole U-Haul. It was so crazy. It's like, let me tell you, every single wholesale deal or flip is a story. It's such a story, but it's kind of fun, you know? Like, I was like, oh, that house, that the poop was in the ground. Or like, that house, that the meth guy. Like, it's like always a story, which is kind of fun. It's never the same. New adventures. This one, we flipped this in Berrien. This came from another real estate agent. It was funny because he gave this as a deal. And then like after we made a profit, he was like, why didn't I do that? I was like, I don't know. And now he flips full time. I don't know if you know Eric Borja. Eric? Yes. So he sold this house to us. And he was cold calling and he sold this to us. And then we made good money. I was like, did I just make you guys $167,000? I was like, I'm going to start doing it myself then. Now we get no more deals for him, but whatever. The reason why I put 10 plus 10,000 on here is because when we bought this house, the realist said it was connected to sewer. And then when the client closed on it, the sewer line was backed up and their water was like slow. And he was like, I don't know what's going on with the sewer. Like, it's slow. And I was like, well, call the city. Because the title said, you know, the realist said sewer connected. Anyway, turned out it was on septic. And the septic was failing. Oh, my God. And the buyer was so mad. They were so mad because it was on sewer, you know, on the listing. And it was actually on septic. He was so mad. And I was like, okay, how do we make you whole? Like, how do we fix it? And he was like, for me to redrain the house, like to do all that and all that crap that happened, we're going to need at least $10,000 from you. So I was like, okay. So I called my attorney and I was like, okay, write me an addendum. Once he cashes that check, he can't come back to me for nothing. Like, I am off, we're clear on that. So our attorney wrote up an addendum. He signed it. I sent him a $10,000 check, and then we were clean. I'm like, oh, God, that could have been a Chanel bag. Damn it. But, you know, it is what it is. But fun times, you know, always fun times. So that's it. That is it. That's how you fix and flip. So I have a last piece for you. It is a little bit about our AIA program. Izzy and I run a coaching program. And for those who are in AIA, raise your hands. I think half of my people are here. Everybody else didn't show up. We run an AIA program, and you can ask people in the program. We are opening it up again in September, right, Izzy?
Take a break in September.
Oh, October. Okay, October 2nd. So we are taking new students on October 2nd, and I'm going to play a little video of what the program is about. And it's a little bit about what we talked about, right? It's having that mindset, being connected to it, but also having to put yourself in the right room. You have to be in the right room. If you're going to your office and you don't feel empowered to do the things that you love and you think you can or you feel that you deserve, you got to move into that room. And so we created a room for that, for anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're from. We are one. So here is us. Aren't we cool? This is actually my dad's house. This house was a nightmare. My dad rented out for 17 years, and the tenant sued us, and we went to court. We had to pay $150,000 to get our house back in West Seattle. This is the house we were at. My dad's there. But I'm going to play a quick video. Is it here? Okay. I got really techie real fast at 2 a.m. in the morning.
I'm excited to announce our Agent Accelerator program with myself and La Cabra, Thai Nguyen.
With over 21 years of experience and the circle that we ride in, you'll be able to learn all the details of how to wrap a property like this together, how to flip, how to identify a burr.
We're gonna teach you everything that we know. We're gonna teach you how to find the deals. We're gonna teach you how to talk to the sellers. We're gonna teach you how to negotiate a deal. We're gonna teach you how to run numbers. And we're also gonna teach you some creative financing and also creative ways to prospect on finding off-market properties.
You'll be able to sit with us and make phone calls. You're gonna get to door knock. You're gonna get to walk projects like this. You're going to be able to identify your goals, pick out your pillars, and grow exponentially in 12 weeks.
I've had to learn all of this stuff the hard way. It has just been Izzy Chavez all by himself, and I've had to spend over $100,000 to learn all of this stuff that we're gonna be teaching you guys here in the program. We're only accepting 25 agents. This is gonna be our first round. It's gonna go for 12 weeks. We're very excited. We're gonna be very selective.
Fill out the link below. The form is in there. I want you to be a part of the 25 agents that we select at our launch. You'll be able to get exposed to so much more than you are today. I know a lot of you don't even have a goal, don't even know what your pillars look like. We are here to accelerate your 12 weeks to financial freedom. It's you, it's your time.